On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we bring you Love After Lockup, the Witch Edition.
And Sam has to tussle with some thick, with two C's, thick-ass ropes.
Happy Halloween?
Happy Halloween. Let's do this. Welcome to Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
Happy Halloween.
Woohoo! It is spooky season all year here. However, we are close to the calendar date that we forever will celebrate as Halloween. And I'm sad because that means Halloween's a week away.
I know.
It's going to be over soon.
Let's sigh. Yeah, so this week we're going to talk about season 5, episode 12, Swap Meet, spelled M-E-A-T, to be clear. We're not going to be going and looking at car parts and or shitty antiques and can. But
could. I mean, that is something that we both have done, but
yes,
probably
many times.
will not be doing it on this episode.
No, this episode is not about that. That's all I want to make clear.
Cool.
But yeah, so how are you this week?
This week I am good. I am embracing the Halloween spirit as much as I can, watching as many horror movies, and there's some new ones out and some that were great and some that I'm still pondering. Fuck my life. What was the name? Harvey from What We Do in the Shadows. He has a horror movie out.
Something about character. I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The new one on Comedy Central.
It's on Comedy Central. And Google
and
this
it is
quickly.
called. It's not coming up on my search either. God damn it! How is it not? Stupid
son of a bitch.
There it is.
This is the worst.
Yeah.
This is such showing
great
up entertainment
on IMDb. So there we go. It's something about like the cast of characters or the guests or whatever. So yeah.
Harvey, what is his last name?
Guglielmo.
My Mariposa. I love him so much. Tape it in later. That's a really great picture of him with a teddy bear, because I know he had that in there. Oh, okay, so maybe this episode will have it. Harvey. He's
Cursed
got
Friends.
a teddy bear. Cursed Friends. There is a picture of Harvey with a Care Bear and a pink telephone hanging on the line. He's in a little bralette, and he's got like a Risky Business shirt over that open.
Okay.
Oh my!
He's getting a little fresh and flirty.
Oh, Harvey. So, so I watched that and other things of the sort. Nothing was very memorable. I mean, everything was fine.
We haven't watched any of it. I mean, or anything like specifically Halloween-y, other than watching the Addams Family 2, the animated one, which is super fun. I hadn't seen it. And then,
Yeah, I mean, no, that's not Halloween-y. Nope, other than that, just, hey, so that means I very successfully sat on the couch most of this weekend, which is what I wanted to do, and I'm very proud of myself for doing it.
Good. Yeah, I do want to see the Hocus Pocus 2 movie, which I have not yet watched. I know I need to. And I still am intrigued enough that I'm going to have to power through the Munsters despite the mixed reviews. I'm going to give it a go.
At least you've got to sit through it until you get to Lily Munster's wedding.
See, I know.
Because it is
if nothing
the
else,
dream.
I costumes.
It is visually stunning.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
have a project. Have a project that you're working on.
Something to distract.
Something to distract you. Besides just sitting there going, what? I don't understand. what is happening. I also rewatched Love and Thunder because it's just so good.
It is so good. So, well, yeah, we've been kind of just doing a lot of stuff around the house too. We did manage to go see 49 Winchester. They call themselves Appalachian Soul, but it's kind of in that alt country vein kind of thing with soul vibes. We went and saw that show this past weekend. I debuted my cowboy hat project that I've been working on for a hot minute. So it's a cowboy hat. I put a lot of rhinestones on. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, it's a work of art. It should be in a museum. It's spectacular. Diana has a new skill. So she makes rhinestone fringes. She makes rhinestone hats. Mm-hmm. You can buy this in her Etsy store, available here.
No.
Look, eventually you'll have an Etsy store that we can go back and I'll just put that in.
That's so stressful. It's like when I was trying to sell my candles. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna.
You just have to do
that. Someone else sell it to
you would have to do a custom order.
Oh yeah, for this, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that
you could
and
be
then
like
now,
couture. You could just do that for like the top celebrities.
Oh yeah, that's what I'll do. By special order only, customs only. Yeah, and then now we're on the countdown because this weekend we're going to a concert.
Yeah, it's the Misfits and Distillers.
And Alice Cooper
getting back together. Yeah, I did watch some terrible. I tried to watch this interview with Brody that was on YouTube because I was like, someone make her biopic, whatever the fuck you say that. I want her made for TV movie, but I was like, okay, here's an interview with her, and the interview was so bad that I couldn't watch it because the person who was interviewing her was that horrible. I'm like, I couldn't even finish it. It was like, oh, he should be sued for being very inappropriate.
Gross. Yeah. I'm pretty stoked for all three bands, honestly. So yeah, we'll be hitting that show up in Dallas. It'll be a good time. It's Halloween weekend. But yeah, that's about all going on in our world, I think, right now.
Yep. And then it's time for actual Halloween. And I got my stuff for my costume, which I may just wear at home. I may wear going out. I don't know. I'm just excited to do it. Yeah. Costume.
Same here.
All right.
Parts and pieces. Maybe I'll get a sneak peek.
Ooh, maybe you
already
horns. Did. Who knows? Yes. So for those of you on the audio podcast, Diana is sporting a very lovely pair of wire-framed demon horns, devil horns, or just horns in general. And but they kind of blend in with the background, so you forget about them. And then every once in a while, like they'll flash in. So it's like there's a special effect of like Diana with blinking demon horns.
It's like they're there, then they're not. Then they're there again. Yeah.
So let's talk about some demons in this very stupid episode. Swap me.
So Liz told me this episode was stupid, but it's fun. And I think that's actually a really great way to describe it.
Stupid, but fun. So
important.
I'm not mad at it. However, would I choose to watch this episode of my own accord? No. Perhaps not. And there's some reasons that we shall get into. So this was episode 12, so midway through the season. It first aired January 28th, 2010. It was directed by Bob Singer, so we have that going for it. So that's probably also why it's watchable and fun, even if it's stupid. And so the teleplay is credited to Julie Siege, and there's a number of people who got story credits on this. And one I thought was interesting was Rebecca Desertine. Sorry if I butcher your name, or Desert I don't know, whatever. So she was a co-author with Peter Johnson of Rising Sun, which was the second series of Supernatural comics. And she also co-authored Supernatural War of the Suns. And according to Supernatural Wiki, this was her first episode of Supernatural, and they're correct. It was her only SPN credit. At the time, she was executive assistant to Eric Kripke. And so when she pitched the storyline to him. So I'm pretty sure she became a social worker, which is kind of interesting. And the other person who has credit on here is Harvey Fedor, Fedor. And I'm really kind of curious what he contributed because he's a key grip. And it's like what he does professionally. So, but I didn't see anywhere on the production notes like what he did. But that's kind of cool. Like he got a story credit. So like, what were you just like bullshitting with with Eric? Like, want to know? So
yeah.
So that is the background on this. And so we're going to go start off in one of our favorite places, which is a bar.
Yeah, at the bar. And there's a nice looking, approximately middle-aged woman. I'm just making up a word, really. I mean, I don't even know what that word means anymore because I am one of them.
Kind of cougar-y looking a little bit, maybe.
Blonde, but yes, a blonde woman alone at the bar that is obviously looking for something.
For something, and she's had a few somethings before in her life. It looks like
this is not her first rodeo.
She's ridden many rodeos, many rodeos. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
No. And we get Sam walks up to the bar and is incredibly awkward, like asking for the barkeep, and orders a fucking banana daiquiri.
Ew.
Which is just weird. I mean, like, yeah, I'll drink a banana daiquiri when I'm like on the beach, but it's just an odd random thing.
I don't. Does it taste like a pina colada with banana in it? Because then I would drink that. But a banana daiquiri sounds disgusting.
What he was drinking was obviously like the shitty American version of like a pina colada with banana in it. Whereas like an actual banana daiquiri, if it was a true daiquiri, would be like a really nice rum drink with possibly some little bit of banana infusion to it.
Ew. Why are you ruining your rum with some banana? Unless it's like,
I like bananas well enough.
Or like that crazy like milkshake situation where it's like bananas and peanut butter and rum and ice cream. And then I want that.
What's happening.
That sounds like way better than whatever he ordered.
Did you just make that drink up?
No, I'm pretty sure we've had that in Belize.
Oh, okay. Oh, we did, didn't we?
It's like a monkey something, or I don't know. It's like something to do with a monkey. I don't know. It's in a. Oh man, I've just been really craving being in a hut on a beach somewhere.
Yeah,
jonesing for it. Really, really want to be on a beach.
The banana daiquiri is not helping.
Nope. Okay.
It's
making me twitch a little bit. All right. So the straw sucker introduces herself as Crystal. And my note right here also says, not gonna lie, Crystal seems like a pro. And by pro, I mean that Sam should be paying her afterwards.
Right. Correct. That is the impression one gets. And she and she introduces herself to Sam, but Sam introduces himself as Gary, which is weird, but also like they use aliases sometimes. So you're like, okay, he's acting real weird, but And she's just super complimentary, and he like is all like, yeah, I know I'm good looking kind of thing. It's real fucking awkward. And he says he's having the best night ever, and she offers to make it better and has to like spell it out for him. So she wants to fuck.
Yes. She does not, however, say, I would like to fuck you. But and then Gary wants to know if they are talking about sex. Yeah. And says, Crystal, I would love to have the sex with you. Which, by the way, it was not supposed to have the in it. It was just supposed to be, Crystal, I would love to have sex with you. And Jared Padalecki put the in, and I think
wise. Yeah, chef's kiss. So, and Sam, we all know Sam can be slightly awkward on occasion. This is definitely next level awkward for Sam. Then we see in the mirror a reflection, and it's not Sam, it's some fucking kid. What? Oh no, who is that? Where's Sam? What's going on? All right. So we cut and we go to the 36 hours earlier in Houstonic. What is this? What is the name of this?
I believe it is Housatonic.
Housatonic?
Housatonic.
Stupid name for a town.
I don't care if
you're offended. Nobody lives there.
No, people do live there. It is a real town in the Berkshires. It's like 1,000 people live there. It used to be a mill town. But then, of course, they all closed, so the area went to shit. It seemed like a revival of like people being like, "Oh, here's my art gallery," and
Of course.
but the average income there is under $36,000.
Oh, wow.
Yikes.
Okay. In
So you don't
yeah.
want to be in Houstonic, but this actually looks like a very cute suburb.
It looks like a very lovely little town. I'm just talking shit about the name of it. So we show our Winchester brothers with baby. They pull up and they are meeting with a woman named Donna and her daughter Katie. Ends up, Donna was their babysitter when they were young. When Dad John would just drop them off with her for up to 2 weeks at a time at the hotel she worked at when he went on to go do jobs.
John Winchester was a shitty father.
What? We've never addressed that. Anyways, so.
Well, and what's worse though is, she didn't work there. She was the daughter of the daughter of like it was like the owner's kid, and just like, hey, I mean, but whatever. Like it was the 70s and 80s, and that was fine. Donna can watch your kid in your motel. Sure. Have a beer.
And she just talked about how, he loved y'all a whole lot, but he'd have to go do his job, and she didn't really believe what his job was at first, but over time she did come to believe it, because he was an expert at getting rid of ghosts specifically.
And interesting that Sam would tell her. So obviously they had a very close relationship, as Sam was telling her.
And she hasn't seen them since the summer before 6th grade, but somehow knows how to get a hold of them. I just want to file that away for you.
Everybody has the emergency John Winchester phone number.
Oh, okay.
It's like 1-800 call John or something.
Anyway, so apparently they called because they started hearing bumps and other weird things in their house. And then her daughter, who's like a tween, like 12, 13-year-old girl, probably something like that. 12. Sure. I don't know, stands up, and she has murdered child carved in her stomach.
Just got a little rocker going on. Just like, oh
murdered
man, that is hardcore, Katie, man. Way to go. Like, man. And like, you just carved that shit in your stomach. Fuck yeah, girl. Well, anyway, so that sounds like, oh no, poltergeist. Ah!
Yep. Obviously. I gotta get rid of the poltergeist. So where do you go to get ready to research this poltergeist? You go to Patriot Burger.
Ooh, Patriot Burger. That is a lovely establishment. I appreciate all of your outfits, all of your flags, and your food.
Yes.
Because I really need to stop watching the show while I'm hungry. At some point, like, I forget what point through this, like, I had to, like, stop watching this. Oh, no, go on. I did have to stop. I had to stop watching this to order DoorDash, by the way, at some point.
That's hilarious.
So.
Dean's got his, burger stacked with a bunch of bacon and stuff. Fries.
Pay tribute to this glorious menu item. You can
share. Go for it.
It's a bacon burger turbo with a large chili cheese fry and a Healthquake salad, which, by the way, Sam does dump a ton of ranch on. So my notice on this is like, that I would order this in DoorDash, like get the salad and then get the burger. Yeah. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be healthy. I will also eat the salad with the burger. But inevitably the salad just goes in the fridge, and then it just is in the fridge until it goes in the trash. Sometimes I eat it, but usually that's where that salad goes to die. But
yeah. So he's got the salad shaker thingy, and I noticed, though, at this point, after they get their food, that the kid working at the counter at Patriot Burger is definitely the same young man we saw in the mirror when we thought it was Sam at the bar.
Aww.
And he is intently watching.
He's eye-fucking them. He's eye-fucking them.
Yeah, for sure.
To the point where they would have noticed. You would notice them. I'd be like, why is that fucking weird-ass kid staring at me? Like, I know we're good-looking, but
gosh.
Actually, I think everybody would stare at them, right? Like, not even if they weren't famous, if just a person that looked like Jared Padalecki and a person that looked like Jensen Ackles were sitting like across from each other eating food, I think everybody would be like, what?
They'd get looks. I don't know if it'd be that much, but they'd get looks for sure. Yeah. Anyway, so Sam makes a crack about how Dean still has the hots for the babysitter. I was like, oh, that's an interesting one, especially since she's got like a wife and kids and a family. Anyways, and so
But
Dean's like,
that's more of what I think Dean has the hots for. It's the
right.
wife and the kids and the family, because he asked Sam if that's, do you want that life? Do you want the wife and the Rugrats? And I think that's partially what Dean is like, just like, oh yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not about the babysitter, it's about the life. And it's not, and that's not a knock on Donna. She's a lovely lady. But that's more what it's about.
No, smoking hot. But
yeah. And Sam said, but Sam's response is not anymore. Like, he's not interested in that anymore. He used to be. And really
it's kind of bitter when he says it too. So it's like,
and he just wants to pivot to talking about research. He don't want to talk about it. So he figured out that the house that Donna and her family are in is an old house. It was owned by Isaiah Pickett, who was believed to have hung a witch in the back. And her name was Maggie Briggs.
Oh, Maggie Briggs. And Dean's just very excited. He's like, oh, angry witch. That sounds great. Well, sadly, Maggie Briggs was made up. Although there was a Maggie Briggs in 2014 who got assaulted by teenagers in South Yorkshire, which does sort of tie into this week's lore, which is where we're going. Early time for some more. All right, so we have a story about a poltergeist, woo, or maybe a witch, woo, or maybe just the Italian justice system doing a woman wrong. They've never done that before.
What?
All right, so we're going to boop a little bit, but not too far back. We are going back to the summer of July 1982, and we're going to start off in Aberdeen, Scotland, with a young 20-year-old Scottish lass named Carole Compton. She has been dating an Italian soldier named Marco. They've been dating for about 3 years. And so when he gets called back to Italy for service, I don't know what the surface thing that just came out of my mouth was. That was exciting. All right, so Italy for service, they decide, hey, we have been dating long enough. Let's go together. So they get engaged, and so they both go to Italy. She needs a job, though, right? So she decides to become a nanny, which is a thing lots of young ladies, do at that time and still. She goes to work for a family named the Riccis. No relation to Christina Ricci that I'm aware of, but she does seem to have a pretty good gig. It's basically her looking after a 2-year-old kid named Emmanuel at the Ricci Villa in the northern Italy town of Bolzano. And she's not even the only help there. There are 2 maids, also the kid's grandparents, and he's got like a mom. I think there's a dad, but he doesn't really come into the story that much. And the mom's like off shopping a lot. So this first instance that happens at the Ricci Villa in Bolzano. Also, by the way, I did watch this right after. I didn't watch this. I started researching this after I was watching the new Netflix documentary about the Vatican girl, and it's a stupid documentary. Like it jumps all over the place, and like I'm still like in part 4, and there's like been like at first you're like, ooh, like this theory, and then there's like 17,000 theories, and none of them are real. And I don't know, like somehow it's like sometimes it's like Russia, sometimes it's the the KGB is doing it, sometimes it's witches. I don't know. So I was kind of mad at Italy when I wrote this, so I apologize if any of this stuff comes off irate to Italy. So anyways, Carole is at the villa, and one of the maids is coming back from the town's holiday festival, which you've never been to a holiday market in Europe. I said drop everything and go this Christmas because they're amazing. So she comes back, and she's probably had a little bit of whatever Italians drink for Glühwein, and found the villa is on fire. And Carole is just standing outside, and she's holding Emmanuel, and she's just staring at the fire.
That's concerning.
She's not calling anybody or warning anybody because there's people inside. She's just holding Emmanuel, staring at the fire. Yeah, that's not concerning at all. No. No, it's not. Mm-mm. So the family then, after this happens, they're just like, okay, that was a weird thing that happened. Let's go stay at some friend's house up the street. And the senora, who had been shopping in Paris, because that's what senoras who have villas do, comes back and comes with them. And then, like, while they're at their friend's house, 2 more fires started. And they're like, Carole, we're going to say arrivederci. And, you know, so Carole, she may not have been that happy. And she may not have been that happy before she even got to Italy. So when she was in Aberdeen, like, she had a run of bad luck. And things just kind of like, things like that are electrical, they just would break around her. They just wouldn't work right. And when she's supposed to be in Rome, she is now in northern Italy, so she's nowhere near Marco, or however she would say that in her Scottish accent, because she's not Italian. But she, you know, so she's crying every night, and she's writing him letters, and so. And these fires keep happening, so they're like, yeah, peace out, Carole. Like, this is not a good fit. So it's kind of like that scene in Addams Family Values where they start going through the nannies until they get to Debbie. This is kind of what's happening here, except the reverse. So she goes into another family, like within like a couple of days. And this time she's going to the islands of Elba.
She was able to get that recommendation. I'm impressed. Go her.
People just don't care, I guess, or I don't know. They're like, bye. And so they're just, I think the agency was like, you know, sometimes you're just not, people aren't good fits. And this was just not a good fit. And so she has another family, and this time she has a 3-year-old named, okay, so this is you've been to Italy. I don't know how you would guess saying this. It's Agnese. Agnesa.
Agnesi.
Let's just call her Aggie.
Sure, go for it.
Well, yeah, sorry, your name's Aggie now. Yeah. Aggie. I can't even make that sound Italian. So this family, though, is also on holiday, and they are at the house of that 3-year-old's grandparents, right? So again, a lot of family is there. Like, oh man, you guys are great. Like, you have all this help, and you get a nanny. Fuck, man.
Right.
So she is there. And not even 2 days have gone by, and a fire breaks out.
Okay.
This is getting a little sus. A little sus, right?
Little sus.
And this time it's pretty bad because the baby was right by the fire. So they were like in a bedroom, and the baby toddler was on a bed. And so Carole had pushed a cot up next to it. So in case the baby rolled off, that it wouldn't roll on the floor and die, that it would roll onto the cot. And then I guess it could roll off the cot and then on the floor, but whatever. It would take a while to make that traverse down to the floor. But so the cot is what caught fire. Not the
Those aren't particularly like things that combust typically. I mean, is it flammable? Sure, but it's not like something where like, oh, that's just caught on fire.
And once again, Carole just kind of stood there and looked at it.
Huh.
Oops.
Not the greatest reaction.
No, and I just don't want to, if the thought of like coming up and just seeing somebody staring at a fire, probably not great, not good. No, so the grandfather comes running in, and he picks up the cot and he throws it out the window. I'm assuming onto some cobblestone street because it's Italy, right? So, and it probably like falls on somebody and they catch on fire. But we don't know what happens after the cot goes out the window, except that the grandmother basically chases Carole down to the basement screaming, "It was you! It was you!" And then the family called the cops.
Okay.
And Carole was arrested.
Okay.
And she was charged with arson and attempted murder. She sent a telegram to her parents that said, quote, "In jail, Livorno, Italy. Supposed to set fire to child's cot intending to kill her. Telephone Marco quickly." Can you imagine being her parents and getting that what the fuck telegram?
Quite a telegram to receive.
I would imagine there was like multiple back and forth of like, wait, is that caught to wait? She was trying to kill a baby.
What the fuck?
So, and then sadly for her, Marco is like, Arrivederci, Carole. And he is out.
I'm out.
Yeah, which is also kind of, what an asshole. I did look that up in Italian. That's a stronzo. So he was a stronzo. There are many fun Italian curse words, and Italian phrases, most of which had involved balls or sitting on dicks or dogs' dicks or other things. For a fun afternoon, go look up Italian curse words. They're great.
Noted.
So newspapers...
It's an expressive culture.
It is a very expressive culture. So newspapers all over the world start picking this up and they start reporting on it. The girl they called a witch because the Cecchini grandmother, she starts telling reporters that Carole has magical powers and is starting the fires with her mind.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. So, and the judge says, "Oh, witch? But maybe she crazy." So he was hold bail until she's examined by a psychiatrist, which is not a good thing because basically that means you're stuck there until the Italian justice system decides to have psychiatrists. It's not good.
I mean,
it is.
I don't want to like brag on other countries' things and not, especially when it's always fair to say that our country's not perfect.
Oh, we're doing terrible things with our justice system right now.
But I would say that there is a lot fewer rights in the Italian justice system, and they are kind of known for.
Well, especially, go listen to the Amanda Knox
stuff.
I
know. That's what I know.
I've
listened to her.
Oh, so much.
I've listened to her, some of her talk. I've heard her interviewed a few times, and it's wild. Like they can hold you for as long as they want, regardless of what charges or anything. It's wild,
right? And the lawyer that she's been assigned doesn't speak English very well. Her family is very not helpful, and her family does raise some money to get her a lawyer that speaks both Italian and I don't know if he spoke Scottish, but he was British. So I mean, so
at least closer.
Fuck you. Yeah, that's, but so the Ricci's though, they did, like, after hearing about this, they're like, oh, she burned stuff too. She burned stuff too. So she gets charged with arson in Bolzano. So she's like going like now both jails, whatever. And the parapsychology community started getting interested in this because it sounded like a poltergeist to them. And a lot of experts came forward and offered to help. Even the foremost authority on poltergeist phenomenon, Dr. Hans Binder, and he visited her.
That's a great name.
He is.
Especially for a poltergeist expert.
Oh, I'm going to do it, Diana. I texted her that I was going to attempt this name. So, Dr. Hans Binder, who was the world's foremost authority in poltergeist phenomena, was the founder of the Institute für Grausgebiete der Psychologie und Psychohygiene. Nope, that's Italian. That is not German. Institute for Greg. You got
the Italian on the brain. You got Italian on the brain.
Yeah, Institute for Grenzgebiete der Psychologie und Psychohygiene, which basically is the Institute for Parapsychology that still exists in Germany. It's pretty cool. They do all sorts of stuff there. Yeah, they have like all sorts of like things about like what happens to your brain when you meditate, and then other things when they've been doing ghost investigations since the 60s, since Dr. Hans Binder he started. So he goes to prison. He's like, Carole, you're doing this through psychokinetic exteriorization. And she is like, what the fuck is that? Because I don't know those words. And he is like, it means you got a poltergeist. You're psychic. And she's like, nope. No, thank you. They're already calling me a witch. I am not psychic. Get the fuck out of my cell. So she's just, this is, she's like, I'm not feeding a poltergeist. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this like a Tamagotchi? Do I have to feed this motherfucker on a schedule? Is it gonna beep at me? Is it gonna die?
Oh man, your poor poltergeist.
Sorry, you said I'm not gonna feed this. Just where my brain went. I'm sorry.
So
it's like a pet.
Yeah. So finally, December of 1983, a big hair time still. Carole's trial in Elba finally starts in Livorno. But it's taken so long that Carole is out of money. So she's lost her lawyer that speaks English.
Right.
And so also of note, they pointed out, which is kind of cool, the courthouse used to be a chapel. So it's like, we're trying this witch in this giant church.
Yeah. Not shocking.
Not shocking. Maybe also not a great look for Italy. And to make things,
I'm sure it was beautiful.
Oh,
but...
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But at the same time, we're like, we're trying a witch here. And even if we're not saying she's a witch, we're kind of saying she's a witch. And to really say that like right when like the trial's about to start and everything quiets down, all of a sudden the doors just like come open, and this little old Italian lady named Ciara Lobina comes, and she's like all in black, and she's got a crucifix.
Of course she does.
And she's just running towards Carole.
Oh, no.
And I would also like to point out that Carole at this point is in a cage. Because what the fuck, Italy? What the actual fuck? She was in a cage.
I feel like the optics on this are not great.
No, it's and also though, can you imagine like you're in a cage and this little tiny Italian grandmother is like running at you with a crucifix?
Oh my gosh!
Like, what drugs have I been smoking? Or I forgot what they said in this episode. Have I been smoking the drugs?
Smoking the drugs.
So she apparently though the little old lady gets taken out, and she told the press that she was just thought that Carole and her mom were possessed by an 18th century witch. And they're innocent and didn't realize it, and she just wanted to touch them to get rid of the Scottish. It was a Scottish witch too. So, but they both Carole and her mom
and her mother
were possessed. And I asked, like I said, when I was in Scotland, I asked those 18th century witches if they wanted to come with me. No, good to come here, but you're good enough to go in Carole?
Yeah, Carole the nanny.
The fuck, man. So.
Rude.
The judge does, so the little lady is taken out, and the judge does let Carole out of her cage and lets her sit at a table like a human being. Thank you,
That's
Judge.
Nice.
Wasn't that nice? And people testify against her, although none can say that they actually saw her start a fire, just that she was by them, right? But Signora Ricci comes and she wants to testify, and she has shit to say. So apparently her grandson told her that it burned when Carole touched him. It had burned, no. But also her maid had told her that the Scottish nanny had the devil inside of her, because religious paintings would just fall off the wall whenever she was near, and other shit, like she was just like a cat, like things were like falling off of tables every time like she walked by. And also the electric meter would just like spin around when she was there.
Your bill would be fucked.
Right? Can you imagine, like, my electric company, because of all the shit that's happened in Texas, has started making me videos for when my electric bill is like higher or lower. I get this like weird robotic video that's like, Dear Waddell family household, your bill is higher. These are some of the reasons why it may be higher. And then it like goes through like air conditioning and like just all that shit. I just imagine like her getting that video. Like, your bill was higher. It may be because of poltergeist.
Or witchcraft.
Demonic powers. Satan. God, please send that out on Halloween. Come on, Perdonalis Electric Company. Counting on you.
I don't think they're going to do that.
So, and like we said, maybe we didn't say, but the fires themselves, a forensic expert came forward to testify about them, and he said that they were super weird, and that mattresses, like, they only burned on the surface, and they both burned on the same spot, like at the different times, right? They were both on there, and the burn marks could have been caused by a hot iron, but not by a cigarette lighter or a match or any other kind of flames, and they burned down, which is not something fire does, right? And he said, in my 45 years experience of this kind of investigation, I have never seen such fires. They were created by an intense heat, but not a flame, and all the fires moved downward rather than up. I have no explanation. Weird, right?
Yeah.
So they also called in the psychiatrist who interviewed her while she was in prison. And according to them, Carole they're kind of dicks. They're like, well, she's below average intelligence with an abnormal personality with psychopathic tendencies. And they said, Carole wanted to be in Rome with Marco. So she created the witchcraft atmosphere for her own amusement. And Dr. Bertuccine told the court, Carole has a naughty personality. We have no evidence that Carole is a pyromaniac. I'm very curious. I'm assuming they said that in Italian. So I'd like to know what the Italian... I did not look up what the Italian word for naughty was. But
I was to say pyromaniac, but yeah, that one too. Naughty.
Well, would pyromaniac just be pyromaniac, or would it be pyromaniaco?
I have no idea.
Sorry, Italy. All right. So in the end, the jury found Carole not guilty of murder, but guilty of 2 charges of arson and 1 of fire raising, whatever the fuck that is. Like, the fuck is fire raising? I don't know. She was given time served, and because she spent by this point, she had spent 501 days in prison.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, you can go. And
just go back to fucking Scotland and don't stay here.
Back to Scotland, don't come back. And the court did release a report about why they came to this verdict. And they said that Carole was suffering from pathological nostalgia. Whatever the fuck that is. Like, what the fuck? You just made that word up. You made those words up. Those are not things. That is not a thing. So, and they were just like, no, she started the fires because she wanted the families to leave their vacation home so she could go back to Rome so she could be with Marco. And they said that she started the fires with alcohol, and that's why you couldn't see that's why they did what they did. But they never proved that. They never did. That's what the court said. Weird, right? So Carole goes back home to Aberdeen, and even though Marco broke her heart, that's Stronzo, she married a new guy. She married Javrou Fazal, who had written to her in prison. So we had a love after lockup story.
Yeah.
We do. Crossover to Love After Lockup. And as of 2004, which is a while ago, but that's the last thing I saw about them, they were happily living in West Yorkshire with 3 children. She wrote a book about her experience called Superstition, the true story of the nanny they called a witch. And in 2001, it became a movie called Superstition. And that actually won a couple of film fest awards. So good for them.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a story of the poltergeist, the witch. Sorry, Italy. So sorry.
Please don't. It's a lovely country with lovely people, and I want to go back, but I'm scared of this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get arrested there. Mm-hmm. I need to finish that documentary because I do care. Like, I think the Vatican is very interesting because it's
fascinating.
It's a political city in a country, mm-hmm. and it's really interesting. But the documentary is stupid.
Sounds annoying.
Stupidest episode. All right, so we're going back to our Angry Ghost Witch. Yeah. So thank you for coming with us, 1982. But let's go back to the present. That was 2000, whatever. And
10. Yeah.
10.
And we've got our brothers have left Patriot Burger, and Sam is walking by himself, talking on the phone to Dean, basically saying he's not having a lot of luck on his research. And they get up, but he's on his way back. And he hangs up his phone, and you hear a noise behind him, and he turns and gets a fucking, blow dart in his neck.
Gets a trick dart. What the fuck? And then he giant falls to the ground. I'm also just picturing, Jared Padalecki passing out. Maybe much like he passed out of that cop car. But, just it's just when they cut down, the beanstalk and Jack and the Beans.
So we cut to the woods. We're in the woods. Sam wakes up laying on the ground, and suddenly he's now wearing a Patriot Burger uniform with a name tag that says Gary. That's weird.
Yes.
So weird.
I'm Super here weird. For this.
But why does the uniform, but the uniform fits him perfectly. I just want to point that out.
It does. Although he does not wear the paper hat. Damn you. No. Damn you for not wearing that hat. But still, this outfit is spectacular.
It's good.
Yeah,
I would wear that shirt on the 4th of July. I want it. Anyways, even if it said Patriot Burger, I would wear it. So he's just like strolling awkwardly down the middle of the road, finds an inhaler in his pocket, and then a cop pulls up, calls him Gary Frankel, and says his family is very worried. And Sam's like, "What, my brother called you?" Which is pretty funny, and because
he's very
not
confused.
Together
He's just
that
like,
something else is
what?
going on.
Why is Dean calling the sheriff? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's awkward. But he gets in the cop car, and the sheriff takes him to a house, and he gets out, and he's like, where the fuck are we? And I'm not staying here. And then a man and a woman come out of the house, calling him Gary, running up to him.
Yep.
He's real freaked out.
He's real freaked out, and they ask him if he's drunk, and just, like, answer your father, Gary. And then we finally see Sam looking at his reflection.
And he's the kid from Patriot Burger. What? So this is where the notes get real. This is about the time I texted Liz that this is one of those episodes where my notes are going to be real confusing, right? So for the remainder of this episode, pretty much, my notes are capital S with a G in parentheses is actually Sam, but in Gary's body, and a capital G with an S in parentheses is actually Gary in Sam's body. Very confusing. That's what I've got. Not that anybody cares. We'll see my notes. I was just laughing about the fact that I had to code it for myself. You can take pictures
of it and show it. But yeah, I think I do a lot of like slashing, not like in that way, because that would be illegal. Right. But well, not in like Kentucky. But there's a lot of like, I have Gary / Sam, but I also don't think that I was consistent about it.
Uh-oh.
So it doesn't really make sense.
I had to commit, or I would be confused.
Yep.
I had to commit. So, all right. So we cut to we see Sam flexing in a mirror, but this is actually Gary in Sam's body at the motel.
One thing to point before that. So the dad just like thinks that Sam Gary is out of his gourd, and that he's so disappointed, and he thinks he's drunk. And I was like, look, I have been drunk a lot. I may have been a lot of other things a lot, but I have never been so drunk that I thought I was another person. So you should goddamn brain, parent.
Yeah,
this is your child's, like, I certainly would not go to drunk. I would go to drugs first. I would be much more concerned that my child thought they were another person than, were you drunk? Huh? Well, boys, we'll be.
But he doesn't even say that he's another person. But that's the thing, is he never even says that I'm another person. He just says he's not Gary. Like, who is that? And like, could he be having a drunk existential crisis? I'm just saying. That's where I kind of went. I was like,
I don't know. I think I would be more concerned, but I don't know. His parents suck. Now we can go to Gary Sam.
Actually, Gary in Sam's body, flexing in a mirror.
Yes.
At the motel. Dean comes in. He's like, asks where Sam's been. He's like, it's weird that he was gone. He's been gone for hours now, that it's been since they were on the phone. So Gary Sam picked up food. It's the same order that Dean had gotten earlier at the Patriot Burger. So
yep, and basically just like, I will make the situation fine with food, and this is where I had to stop and order DoorDash. Okay, so because I was just like, fuck, this looks so good. So Gary tells Dean that they need to leave because the maids came in.
And Dean's like, why did you let the maid in? Because they would never do that. And he's like, oh, it just happened. And I think this is kind of like the food that, but while Dean's trying to eat, Gary Sam apologizes for freaking Dean out, then tells him about they've got to go because he let the maid in. And I think this is where Dean gets a little sus, but is still still acting as normal.
There's nothing that's been a red flag enough for him to be like, you're not my brother.
But just borderline weird. So anyways, so Dean goes to the bathroom, and Gary Sam's like, I'll wait for you outside. But he jacks Dean's cell phone and all of the cell phones in Baby's glove box and throws them all in the fucking dumpster. That was a lot of burner phones.
That was a lot of burner phones. I also do enjoy the look on Gary's face as you like, I just imagine like breaking into like someone's car and being like, okay, I'm going to throw out their what the fuck? Why do you have like, I would be like, are you a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Like that's where I would just be like, drug dealer, right?
Right.
So,
obviously.
but Gary is fine with this. And then he does something that I think made Diana hurt a lot. Pissed. He asks to drive Baby.
Asks to drive Baby, and Dean says yes because he thinks it's Sam. And he revs the engine, doesn't know what fucking gear he's in, revs it like a douchebag, then guns it in reverse into a dumpster. For the record, just the bumper itself for a 1968 Impala would be approximately $300 to $600. That doesn't include installation. So,
and the time you have to be without your car while they put it
and we could be talking about paint and body if it hit the trunk,
and then they fuck up the paint, and then you have to do it again.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, I was pissed for Dean. There you go.
Yep. So, Gary is no longer driving Baby.
No, not at all. So, but we do now get a good look at Sam. He has left a voicemail. He is in Gary's room. He has left a voicemail on every phone that he knows of for Dean. He is rocking a Star Wars t-shirt, looking around this bedroom, and there's a poster. There's like a poster that says Narwhal. I just thought it was really Narwal. It's not actually spelled right, but apparently I guess that's something that he's really into. Anyways,
like, is he into narwhals, or is it a band, or is it a game?
It's kind of like a band. I did not look it up. I was just mostly amused that it existed, but that's not how you spell narwhal. There's an H in it. Anyways, but he's very upset that he is in the wrong body, and apparently now he has asthma, and tries to call the hotel, but he gets told that the people already checked out, and he's trying to figure out who the fuck Gary is that could have, and how could this have happened? It's like, okay, AP Chemistry, Star Wars, and Virgin. So he's like a smart kid, but frustrated virgin when he starts digging in deep and finds some other things. So,
but then
he finds the big sign.
He finds an athame, and then he finds an altar cloth, and then he's like, witchcraft. Oh, Gary, you little satanic bastard.
You little satanic bastard. So he gets called down for breakfast with his mom, dad, and sister, so he has to abandon his search of the room.
And we get some good Jared Padalecki, like, being a frustrated kid here. Just kind of,
for sure.
No, Mom, I don't want to go. And I thought that was really cute. It was cute.
Yeah. No, he does. He plays it right, for sure. He really does. But now Dad just really wants to talk about how disappointed he is. What happened last night? We had a plan so you could get your ride, you do your SAT scores and get your ride to MIT so you could be an engineer. I don't know why I did that voice, but it seemed appropriate.
That's a dad voice. Yeah. That man clearly has a mistress, and he works at a Fortune 100. I can see it. But Sam throws things and just tells Gary's dad that he does not give a rat's ass about his plan.
No. And sister is loving this. Little sis is like eating this up, which is good for her. I mean, she's probably very enjoying it.
I would be too, especially, like, I could tell, like, Gary's a pain in the ass, and he probably, like, he's in AP Chemistry, and he gets all these good grades, and his parents don't know he's fucking around with Satan, and she's probably, like, getting all this shit, and she's like, oh, Gary fucking up. It's my turn. Yeah, they're not going to pick on me. Mm-hmm. I know this game.
Yeah. So, Sam, as Gary's asking, like, look, have I seen Moody lately? Do I have any occult fixation? Am I good at Latin? And they're like, Mom's like, well, you have an ear for languages. It was really funny to me.
There is a woman in my Pilates class today who used to teach Latin, and that's all I wanted to be like, can you perform an exorcism? Can I call you with questions about where words come from?
Oh my gosh. Well, and then he asks about neighborhood pets missing. This is the point where they get to your line of, are you smoking drugs?
Oh, yeah. No, Dad, it's incense. So Sam then starts asking if they have seen a book, and then he grabs the toast off his mother's plate, because there was no toast on Sam's plate.
No.
Sam's plate. No.
Yeah, which was also really, like, an awkward, comfortable thing for him to just do. And when, like, because he's not Gary, he's Sam.
He's Sam. He's just sitting at some stranger's dinner thing, and he just
like grabs something off someone else's plate. It was just very odd. That struck me. I was like, I don't know if that's in character, but okay.
Okay, you're just laying into this, and you want some fucking toast. Like, God damn it, where's my toast?
He's committed.
But Gary can't eat toast
because he's allergic to wheat gluten.
He's gluten intolerant. Not just saying that because it's cool. And a bathroom flush later goes to show how allergic he was, because he only had a couple of bites of that, and
apparently is not feeling good.
Did not agree with the Garysam. It did not. The Samgary.
Yeah. So his sister's there waiting, and she's like, when mom and dad find your creepy old book, you're gonna get grounded for a decade. Okay, so we've got some validation. Further validation, at least. I mean, we already had a couple of key elements, but now we've got this. And she's just like blown away that he even brought it up at breakfast. So, but now he just knows that he's got to go look for it.
Where do I keep it, Cindy? Cindy, where is my book? So we cut from Cindy to and Samgary to Dean and Garysam.
Yes.
And they're on Fisherman's Wharf. Dean still does not know this is not his brother. And
so he wants to talk about the case.
Yeah. And Gary gets real excited because Maggie wasn't hung. She's buried in the basement. What?
He knows the whole backstory. He has researched this. I guess because he's into the local lore, being a person that lives in this town, and there's probably not a lot going on there.
And he's a little satanic bastard.
Well, that's
and so he's into the occult and wants to know about the witches. So, and I appreciate this.
Yeah. So you gotta go. Now they're gonna go to the basement. So they go at the house.
Well, and he plays off too. Like, I was like, because Dean's like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you tell me about this before? And he's like, I did research last night. And I'm like, And so Dean's still buying this, right?
Right.
And then they get into the car.
Yeah. And Rock and Roll Never Forgets by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band is playing. And Garysam says, hell yeah, turn it up. Red flag, red flag, red flag.
But Dean is just very happy that Sam wants to be into some Seeger with him. And all I can think of every time I hear Bob Seger is the episode of The Simpsons where Chief Wiggum is going out on a date with his wife, and I forget who says it to him, but they say, enjoy, I think it's Lisa, and she says, enjoy Bob Saget, and he's like, Bob Seger, and he's like, oh damn, and then his tickets say Bob Saget, R.I.P., you fucking genius. All right, so Sam is now in high school.
Yeah, because he's Gary, so he has to go to school, and he also needs to go find the fucking book. And he's still leaving voicemails for Dean, but in the meantime, he gets interrupted by Gary's friends trying to talk to him and ask if he's okay. And he doesn't, he's like awkwardly ask for his locker number, and they're just like, oh.
And they're like, are you drunk? And he's like, yeah, fucking drunk. And which is smart. Be like, yeah, Gary, just fucked up at school. What's my locker number? Have you ever had that nightmare? The anxiety nightmare where you don't know your locker number?
I don't think I've had that one.
Yeah, I occasionally still have that. Where I'm in a school and I don't know where my locker is, and I don't know the locker combination.
I think kids don't use lockers very much anymore.
I don't know. They have lockers. It's just a place where they would hide their guns. All right, so he safe cracks the lock, and so which is great. So he just like
listens to it like old school, like. Yeah. But and
also
comics,
those shitty ass padlocks, I'm pretty sure you could that jacking off is apparently the hand signal I'm making.
Jacking off padlocks.
You just jack off that padlock,
And in there is though, you've got your comic books, you've got your class books, another narwhal poster for the record, a drawing.
It's gotta be a band. It's gotta be some fucking band.
But and then we've got this drawing on a newspaper article where it makes the person in the news have devil horns, and a quote, very, very bad book.
Oh no, Gary. Very bad book. Mm-hmm. My favorite kind.
So Dean and Garysam are in the basement of the Pickett, or aka Donna's house. And they both have guns and flashlights.
And Gary is very excited to have a shotgun. And he says, "Booyah, Master Chief is in the house, bizaches." And apparently that is the main protagonist in the Halo video game series.
Yeah, apparently. And
I'm
Dean
with
is
you,
like,
kids.
WTF. Yeah. And then Dean identifies willow moss growing on the floor. And Garysam was like, "Oh yeah, it grows on a witch's grave." And Dean's kind of like, yeah, like you didn't really need to say that. We know this.
And that's willow moss is an aquatic moss. It's for aquariums. So I don't know why it's on a grave.
That's weird.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't think it would grow well there then. Anyways, so Dean starts digging up the bones like you do.
Like Dean does.
Like,
it's what
like
Dean,
you do.
He's got the shoulders for it. So he's just digging in there.
And it's weird that Sam isn't helping at all. So, but Garysam is definitely
it's a
not
small
space,
right? Like, I don't think two people could dig there, like, probably well. Right.
Right. That's fair. But realistically,
like knocking
Garysam
shovels.
is no interested in helping because he wants to point his gun at Dean.
And it's very, very disturbing. Like, he is point blanking the shotgun at his back. And we do think he is about to shoot Dean. But
Go switch.
Fling.
Go switch flings Garysam backwards, and Dean actually goes to help actually, and Garysam's like, "We gotta get out of here," and Dean's like, "We still have to burn the body, you idiot." So then he gets thrown across the room, and the female ghost, we actually see her, and you see that
she is an
Garysam.
She's an angry ghost witch for sure.
Angry ghost witch for sure. And Garysam is pretty freaked out, and you kind of lose sight of him in the scene. And she charges at Dean, but right when she's about to get to him, she burns up because Garysam burned the bones. He did it. Holy shit!
Way to go, Gary.
Yeah. So okay. So he's pretty proud of himself.
Yep. He's just like, dude, that was sweet. It sure was, Garysam. Sure was.
Dean is not super impressed.
Nope, he is not. But we're gonna go back to Samgary, and bad Samgary, he is skipping school.
Yeah.
I hope you figured out a way to do that without the school calling your parents to make sure you haven't left class.
Well, his two nerdy friends are about to bust him, so and they corner him about skipping, and they want to talk it out, but he's not feeling himself. And so it's Trevor and Nora, and they just really don't want him to go. But so Trevor shoots him with the dart gun, and he goes down. Okay. Poor Sam.
Poor
also,
Goliath.
God, he's got to have the worst headache ever. Aren't that supposed to give you a gnarly headache when you wake up from that shit?
Probably. I mean, how do you death drop into that, right? I don't know. So then we're going to go to Damn It Trevor. So there was a Damn It Trevor moment. But so then we're going to go from there. And now we're at the bar. And we had 2 beers and 2 shots. But I do kind of miss that order. Like, that was my bar order with my boyfriend for a while. Like, it's a good bar order, right? Like a beer and a shot of whiskey.
Yeah, Babe and I have been into that. Babe and I have been into that lately. We start off the night with a beer and a shot. We really like that. Like, we're out. Kick it off with a beer and a shot, and then you just drink beer after that, and you're good. But my problem is then 4 beers later, I'm like, let's do another shot. And then the little man with the little hammer comes out and bonks me on the head, and it's time to go home.
Diana, no, you shouldn't drink. You are old.
Shut up.
So
never.
Old.
Be young forever.
You can't drink that much anymore. You will have a hangover for 3 days. 3 days shall your hangover be. Anyway, but Dean does not have that problem, and neither does Garysam, because he doesn't know. So Dean orders from Sweetheart. Don't call your waitress a Sweetheart, man. So gross. And then he orders a cheeseburger with extra bacon and a fried egg on top of it. And Gary wants that too, and so do I, or so did I at that point. I'm full at this point, but not the egg, because
I'm over the fried. I mean, it was good for a minute, but I'm kind of an over.
I was never into it. I just don't.
It's not necessary.
It's extra gross, and it's not tasty. fried eggs are not for Mama Burger or on other sandwiches. Eat fried eggs
Oh,
by
I like
themselves.
I like it on a BLTA. I'm not gonna lie.
I can see that. Well, also, I mean, my favorite thing though is I have the egg over medium where the yolk cracks open, and then you take the bread and you dip the bread in the yolk. But that's not this. It's not the same if it's already on there. You lose that. Anyway, so but Dina, this is like he asks, "Who are you? And what have you done with Sam?" We're like, does he know?
No, but he doesn't. He just we think he does for a minute, and you're like, but Garysam able to play it off, and they do another shot. And
he does. That is the look on my face when I drink whiskey these days. I make that face look.
But Garysam is just super happy, very complimentary about the day, and he just like Dean's just kind of watching him, and Dean's like, this is kind of random. That it's kind of weird that a random D-list ghost hunt has made that much of an awesome day for you. And Garysam like, what? I can't be in a good mood. And Dean's like, oh, it's not your style. Garysam's like, well, it's new me. Why shouldn't I be happy? I got a gun, getting drunk, and I look like this.
Oh, God. Which, for Garysam, I mean, I imagine Jared Padalecki's body, an upgrade, and he didn't have to do all that work for it. Like, someone else, like, did all that shit. And you're just like, yeah, thank you.
I just get to own this, yeah. But then he gets a little existential, not existential, that's not the right word. Thoughtful.
Philosophical.
There we go. Says, have you ever felt like your whole future is being decided for you? Well, poor old little Gary's talking about his daddy trying to get him to get his SAT scores up to go to MIT. Obviously, Dean thinks Sam is talking about the fucking, apocalypse.
Yeah, there is a parallel here that works out. And so I can see Dean being like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, this is, this is where we're at. And it's nice sometimes just to kick a little ass. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just want to kick a little ass. But not after you've been drinking in a bar. Don't do that. That's how you go to jail. So Dean finally is just like, yeah, man, I'll just drink to it. We'll drink to that.
I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. That's it was a good day. And then, and Dean's kind of realizing though that Sam doesn't drink with him very often. And then they, and Garysam is very complimentary. He calls Dean a good guy repeatedly. It's interesting.
And I think it's also a point that in this point in the storyline, like the fact that they're not drinking when they're out together, like why aren't they in bars together drinking? Like why is Dean like if you and I were out together, we would be drinking all the time. It's just what we would do.
What? Of course not.
No, we would be having very sober, tea. All right. Anyway, but their cheeseburger comes out, and Gary is so happy to be eating bread, and I get you, man. Yeah. Like if anytime I've had to give up bread, whoo,
I can't wrap my brain around that. So we cut though to Garysam is going to go, walks across the bar, and he is at the bar now. And we pick up and we get our intro scene where he has ordering his banana daiquiri, kind of drunk, and meets Crystal and leaves with Crystal. And Dean is very confused.
Yep. As Gary is leaving, he ponders like, "There, we're gonna do it, yeah." And Dean's like, "You can do better." that's the look at it. It's like, what? Like this is where weird. He really starts going like, wait, something is wrong here.
Yeah. Well, real Sam in Gary's body is tied up in Trevor's parents' basement while Trevor's parents are out of town. And him and Nora are there, and they call Gary, a.k.a. Sam, who is in Crystal's bed.
So, now we know Trevor knows about the body swap. This is not new. So they knew that this was Gary who did it. And Crystal's bedroom is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is. She's got some fucking badass leopard print bedding. It's gorgeous.
And a black velvet painting behind her, all sorts of bamboo teak type things in there. And Trevor is just like, where is Dean? And we're like, what?
What? Why does Trevor know who the fuck Dean is? Oh, ends up, Gary was supposed to fucking kill him. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not good. And Trevor tells Gary that he's got Sam, but he's already been able to like be in the house with his parents and stuff like that. And Gary's like, I'm not really worried because Sam can tell people whatevs, but nobody's gonna believe him in my body. So, but Trevor's
he's not
like,
wrong.
he's not wrong. No, but Trevor's like, yeah, you just need to hurry up and kill Dean. But then there's an interruption. And Gary, in Sam's body, has to get off the phone quite abruptly because Crystal has re-entered the scene.
And Crystal bought out Hot Topic or Fredericks of Hollywood's vinyl bustier / miniskirt selection and has changed into a cheap ass dominatrix outfit. Crystal, you can do better too. And she's got a little little crop in her hand, and Gary thinks he's in over his head. And oh boy, Gary, yes. You are.
Yes, sir.
And then, but also just kind of goes to my like the thing. Are you raping Sam's body? Like, woo.
Is Gary raping him at this point? Because Gary's facilitating this. I mean, is he an accomplice to rape, or is he a rapist? Is Crystal unknowingly raping somebody? But Crystal can't really be raping somebody because she's having sex with a willing person, but in the body of the person that doesn't know, and it makes my brain hurt and it upset me.
This is stupid! And this is the point where one of the many points, this episode is stupid!
There's a lot of like questionable things that are done to people's bodies in this series.
Yes. Body swaps, though, are always questionable and always, but so
swaps and possessions make things real weird.
They do. So we cut back to Samgary, and we find out that these idiots have been talking to demons.
Yeah. And they know that Dean is, quote, hell's most wanted. So they think they're going to get a fucking reward for killing him. That's their whole plan. And they're like, Nora kind of like starts turning. Like, she's like, look, we were just kind of goofing around with a book. And Trevor's like, no, we were like, don't trivialize it. We were talking to our dark overlord. And like, it's just very bizarre.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call praying to our dark overlord goofing around.
Yeah. But apparently Gary, while they were doing some ritual, Gary went into a trance and drew like this perfect picture of Dean. And now, so he knew the bounty was on him. And now every witch and Satanist in the country is looking for Dean right now. But Gary spotted him at the Patriot Burger.
Also, that's a lot. Like, oh shit, there's something they don't really talk about, like, what? Like, every witch and Satanist in the country? Like, I'm assuming that's a lot of people trying to worship the Dark Overlord. Like, people looking for them, right? So, but the Freaky Friday was Gary's idea, and Nora thinks that's real smart.
So smart. Because she's totally got the hots for Gary.
She does.
They're going to Trojan horse the brothers to make this happen. So, Sam's trying to explain to them what's actually. He's like, y'all realize that this isn't a game. You're talking about demons and actually killing another human being, and you can't really come back from this. Like, this is not like haha playtime. And Nora's pretty freaked the fuck out by this. She's like, oh shit, maybe you're right. Maybe this was a bad plan. Oh yes, it was a bad plan. But Trevor don't care. He is a greedy little entitled shit.
And he just wants to call the demon and get his dollar bills, yo. Like, that is what he wants.
Bills, y'all. And cash rules everything around me.
So now we cut back to the motel where Gary is returning from his evening with Madame Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened.
We do not. But he thinks Dean's asleep, and he's going to shoot him in his sleep because he's a bitch. But Dean's not asleep. Dean's standing and waiting behind him and punches his face.
And says, "You're not Sam." No. Punches him.
So that's good. That's a relief. But Samgary is begging Trevor to stop. But Trevor's doing this fucking ritual. He thinks it's a great idea to summon a fucking demon. because, well, we'll just summon a demon. It'll be fine.
That's
and he's
fine.
like,
We do
Nora,
it all
don't
the
you want
time.
to get into Vassar? Holding Vassar over Nora's head. But then after partway through the incantation he's doing, that's the word, right? Sure.
Yes.
Nora, we realize Nora is on the ground. And Sam's like, you better not touch her. But Trevor does, because he's a fucking idiot. And she is definitely possessed.
So possessed, beyond possessed. And Trevor tells Nora the demon that where Sam is that there is a powerful warlock named Gary in Sam's body.
Yeah.
And she's very excited that not only do they have Gene Winchester, but they also have Sam Winchester's meat suit.
Yes. This is bad. This is very bad, because she can tell that that's not that Sam is inside of Gary. So it's like a weird, So now we realize, like, oh, not only is this bad that they just want to kill Dean, now the demons and the devil could potentially come after the meat suit of Sam. And this would be the whole.
So while Gary is inside of Sam, he can say yes, because he's which stupid. It's
not your body to give. Just because you're riding in it at that moment doesn't make it yours to give. Or is it ownership's 9/10 of the law, or possession's 9/10 of the law? Is that it? I don't know.
Stupid.
Very confusing. Very confusing. I don't ever want to get possessed. This is very upsetting.
This is all very upsetting. I don't want to be a
vessel. No, just saying.
Diana says no.
I said no. So
I will happily be a vessel. It's
super. Fine. She's super impressed, but Trevor wants his fucking reward, and she's like, "Yeah, sure, you can have some fucking gratitude." And Trevor is not happy with this. So Sam's like, "Trevor, you need to shut the fuck up."
Stop talking, Trevor. Stop talking, Trevor. But Trevor, he wants his rewards, and you know what he wants? He wants Mitty Schwartz to fall in love with him. What? That's what you want? Okay.
He wants money.
He wants $1 million.
And she's like, oh, well, why not 10 million then? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll take that. That sounds better. And Minnie Schwartz. And she's like, aw, money and love, sticking to basics. And here's my counter. And she rips him open, literally.
And then she licks him. And she says he tastes like moron.
Ugh.
But apparently morons taste good based on her look. So cool. Yeah. All right. So Dean finally checks his fucking voicemail. Which I don't blame him. Like, I don't check my fucking voicemail. Don't leave me.
Yeah, but you haven't gotten a phone. But you haven't you haven't checked your phone. You've checked you haven't realized you have 0 phones in now like a day.
How would he have gone to this? Even back then, you would have known within like a minute or two that your phone wasn't there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't even notice that all your phone. I mean, it wasn't even like a full day. I guess this has only been like a few hours, but still,
he was at the bar without a phone.
That's insane.
You can't be in a bar without, even in 2010. That phone was there with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's got 38 voicemails from Sam. He's going through them, and Gary is tied up. And Dean says, "You start talking, or I start waterboarding."
And Gary just begs Dean, "Please don't hurt me, sir. Please don't hurt me. I'm a bad boy. Bad boy. Crystal told me. She told me I was a bad boy over and over again as she smacked your brother's bottom."
None of that happened. But Gary is a bitch.
You don't know. We don't know. It's like
tells where Sam is, and that Trevor's parents are out of town, and this is when Dean pieces together that these are fucking children.
Yeah, but oh no, Nora Demon's here.
Demon fling. Dean gets thrown across the room. That's not good. And she's approaching Gary. Back at the basement, Sam cannot break free of the ropes. We've got dead Trevor on the floor. Nora's gone. He's still tied up. So
And he
in the
can't break free
hotel,
because he's in Gary's body. So Gary's
which,
body
yeah.
can't. But also, Sam, would your normal body just be like,
there's a lot of fucking rope.
I'm
There's
Sam
a
the Good Lion
lot of
Sasquatch.
rope. There's a lot of rope. Thick rope. But so Demon
Thick,
Nora offers Gary
THICC rope.
I just meant like it wasn't like fucking like twine.
Everyone likes that thick ass rope.
Oh my gosh. Demon Nora has now offered Gary anything he wants. Because she wants that good Sam body, right? And
Sam's got the good.
Yeah. He asks to be a powerful witch. No daddy, no MIT, no plan.
Which
and
is
like,
yeah. I'm sure, like, for her, like, oh, like, that's way better than Mindy Schwartz. Oh yeah, you want to be a powerful. He wants to be a powerful. Do you say witch or warlock? I don't know.
He said witch.
Okay, good for him.
But she's like, that's great, we can do that, but you have to meet my boss first. And he's like, man, I don't think I want to do that. I don't really want to meet the devil. I'm cool.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's cool, man.
Cool,
like,
cool,
I don't
cool.
need to. Cool. Like, I don't need to. We don't need to meet Satan. Like that. That seems like a Saturday. Oh shit, I'm busy.
Unnecessary. He doesn't really want to meet me.
I have a thing I gotta do. I can't really meet you. It's cool.
I don't want to. He's so busy. Don't bother him with little old me. And in that distraction, she's like, yeah, all you have to do is he'll ask one question. You just have to say yes. So as we've said, obviously she's trying to help hand over the meat suit to Lucifer.
Yeah, and we never learn who this demon is, but this demon like seems to know a lot.
Yeah, seems pretty high ranking.
Yeah.
And Dean attacks her, and she fights back pretty hard.
She just starts kicking the shit. She's just like boom, 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 and just like kicking him in the chest over and over, and he's not even getting up. She's just like, bam.
No, it's pretty rough. She's just kicking the shit out of him. But all of a sudden, Gary starts talking in Latin. What the fuck is Gary doing? She is pissed. He's trying to exorcise her. Holy fuck.
He was always good with languages.
He knows his Latin. And she is pissed, so she grabs him by the throat. But then Dean starts doing the exorcism. And so now we've got this back and forth between them, except that Dean adds his own little audio speech in there, which is not part of it. But
it's a little duet. Like,
it's a little exorcism
going
duet.
back between Gary, Sam, and Dean. And then, but the audio speech was really cute because he says, adios, bitch. And Gary goes, no. It's a Dinos. And then cock smoke.
Cock smoke out. Cock smoke out. All right. So now we've got Gary, Sam, and Dean all together doing the ritual to put them back, with Nora watching in the background. Gary has 2 words to share. My bad.
My bad. Dean doesn't quite think it'll cut it. And Gary is also not that excited to be back in his body. He really enjoyed being a giant. And I can imagine, like, think of all the things you could see from up there.
I can just put on my tall heels and tell you. Just teasing.
I was finishing my visits with my sexy chiropractor, and he had on his wall like one of the like the measurement things, like where you measure people's heights. And so like I jumped up against it, and I was like, how tall am I? And he is like, you're 5'1". And I was like, yes, I made it to 5'1". He goes, oh shit, that's your hair. And he is like 5 foot.
Oh.
But with my hair, I am over 5 feet. It's pretty exciting.
There you go.
So
yeah.
Dean points out that if Gary was 18, they would murder him. So I guess that's their line.
Which is a fair line.
We won't murder a human if they can't vote.
Yeah.
Go vote in your midterms. So it won't matter. We're going to vote in them anyways. So they take the kids home, and it's raining now.
It's raining, and Sam stops and tries to have a heart-to-heart with Gary before he goes back. Gary goes back into his house. It's like, your life's not that bad. Find a way to rebel in a healthy, non-satanic way. Good advice. Nora, and by the way, Nora doesn't like Satan. Nora likes you. Duh. And I wish that I had your life, and things aren't as bad as you think. Aw, that was nice, Sam. Nora and Gary go inside.
Sweet. And Gary, hopefully lives a productive life with Nora. And, kids, you should rebel. You're totally fine. Rebel in a satanic way.
Preferably
your dark overlord welcomes you. You should
I like that. I'm like, don't do it in a satanic way while I'm wearing devil horns.
You are wearing devil horns. I am making devil horns. Go worship your dark overlord, children. It'll bring you much riches and joy. Maybe you can switch bodies with Jared Padalecki. I don't know. Maybe there's a spell for that.
Get your heart ripped out. I don't know.
Your heart may get ripped out, but no, Trevor was not Jared Padalecki. Gary's fine.
No, I know.
Gary got to fuck Chris. Oh my God. I wonder if Sam got something from her. Anyway, but
what if Gary Sam got Crystal pregnant? See what I'm saying? Like, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. Is it Sam's kid? Obviously, because it's his body. What the fuck? Anyways.
If Gary Sam got an STI from Crystal, then Sam would have that STI later?
Yeah, because it's his body.
But Gary Sam would not have it. Yeah.
Gary would not have it.
So the
body would have it.
The soul does not transmit diseases.
No, the soul does not carry an STI, I don't think. We got a whole other conversation.
We talk about STIs in this show so much.
Well, there's a lot of weird fucking and like not necessarily like there's not a lot of
so much.
There's some conversations about consent. There's some conversations about consent that I think.
Well, it's not even consent. Like this is just biology.
And body autonomy.
Soul
I don't know,
biology. Like
soulology.
So this like sounds like a class I have to take on a bicycle with a Peloton woman yelling at me. So Sam, the real Sam and Dean get to have their emo boy moment.
Well, it's pretty funny because Dean's like, "Oh, that was really nice of you to say to Gary," and Sam's like, "I lied. That kid's life sucked ass." I was dying. So I was like, "Oh, that was sweet. Hopefully, Gary will get his shit together." And then they said that, and I was like, cracking up.
Yes, and the reason that it sucked ass was all that apple pie, family crap. It's stressful. Trust me, we didn't miss a damn thing.
Oh. Then Dean says, or we don't know what we're missing.
Oh. So now we have, so we got this dichotomy now where Sam's like, fuck that shit. I don't want a suburban home. And then Dean's just like, but it's kind of nice.
We never really had it. It seems
kind of, maybe I kind of want that. And then he gets hopeful because he revs up baby. Turns her on.
Rock and roll never forgets it's on again.
Because that cassette is still in baby and replaying.
Sam tells him to turn it down. Womp womp.
And then says, welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah.
Which is a reference. If you're millennial or below, you will understand. Look it up. Let me Google that for you. Fine. But, he turns it down. He still drives off with Rock and Roll Never Forgets playing. God, that song is terrible. And that's how this episode ends. So what did you think, Diana?
It was a fun one. I think it was a fun episode, as silly as it was, and there's some annoying things in it. And I don't know that it did a significant amount to drive the overall plot line of the season. I mean, we talk about obviously them having a hit out on them, but that's not even like a key part, I don't think. You're getting some good character development and talking about what Sam and Dean, like what they like and want in life. But other than that, I think it was just fun.
Yeah, it's a filler.
Yeah.
No, I have filler stuck in my head. I don't want to hear it. No, you're full of shit. So, yeah, I think this episode's stupid. And because it's filler and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, it was fine. I like the Patriot outfit. I like burgers with bacon. I like Crystal. not crystal meth, but I like crystal.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just not enough.
It's not a lot. There's not a lot of meat to it. It's like you said.
Yeah, like even if there's a double
Get
meat
it?
burger with bacon, not a lot
Swap
of meat.
meat.
Swap meat. There's not a lot of meat to it.
Where's the meat in the swap meat? All right.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
now I want a burger again. But
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, and I can't wait to get to casting couch. I do want to talk about. I can't wait to talk about that. But yeah, let's go to casting couch and then we'll wrap up.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
So, our friend Gary Frankel was played by Colton James. A couple of key roles that we've seen where he was Benjamin in the Lost World movie. That's a Jurassic Park film from 1997. He was also Edward in the movie The Cell in 2000, but it doesn't seem like he's done much since about 2010. He was kind of a kid actor or young actor. Nora, aka our demon, was played by Sarah Drew. She is a major ongoing character in Grey's Anatomy named Dr. April.
It's
Kepner.
April! It's Kempner! Oh my god. So clearly Diana, never watched Grey's, but
I've
yeah.
seen it. I'm aware of it.
And I also have a friend who really hates this character, and I don't hate her, but like because she hated her, she became that much more important. And but she was such a long-term character on here that I am seeing April Kempner turn into a demon, which is awesome because I mean, her personality carries over, and she's fantastic. Like, she's a teenager here, I think, probably acting, but I think she knocks it out of the park, and she's adorable, and I love her. And
well, I have a couple other notes on Sarah Drew. She's also Allison in Mom's Night Out, the movie. And
I forgot.
Do you know that she did a significant amount of voice work, specifically as a character named Stacy on Daria, and a bunch of other voices on Daria as well. So,
I don't know why I'm doing this hand exciting
hands, you got
thing.
some like you're doing
jazz fingers.
That's the jazz hands, or isn't that applause in sign language?
Sure.
There we go. All right, and then just a couple other quick ones. That honestly, Nora's character is probably our next biggest actress in this episode.
So Trevor didn't make it.
Mrs. Frankel was played by Eileen Ped, and she was in just like a shit ton of like.
So Gary's mom. Okay.
Gary's mom, bunch of Christmas movies, like Hallmark movies. She also had a small part as Gerda in the movie Juno. Mr. Frankel was played by Greg Keane. Just a ton of TV episodes and movie bit parts, not like anything else that really reoccurring and established. Trevor was Alex Arnault, was the actor. He's Todd in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Okay.
He's in a funny movie. Crystal was played by Deborah Donahue.
That's all Todd did.
That's the only thing I've known.
Trevor did, or whatever his real name is. Sorry.
That's the only thing I've
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Trevor's own Alex Arnault has not done a lot of high profile things. That's one that just stood out specifically. Okay. Crystal is Deborah Donahue. She's done a lot of TV movies, interestingly, and then she had a small role in the movie Along Came a Spider. And then last is Sydney Frankel, who was the sister as Daniela.
Is it Sydney or Cindy?
Sydney.
Oh.
Frank. I had Sydney written. It's Daniela Bobadilla, and she
like armadillo.
Bobadilla is what
armadillo is what you said.
Armadillo. She was. I had a major ongoing role in the TV show The Middle. She played Lexi, and then she's Sam on the Anger Management, the television series for that. So she's some major on like regular roles on those shows. So she's continued in her acting career. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a fun episode. It's problematic as they would say these days, but yeah, it's just filler. It was fun. It was kind of a fun one for, I guess, this season too. It's kind of like this body switch, whatever. Haha. Like,
Yeah, but also, like, if I never saw it, I wouldn't give a shit.
it doesn't hurt anything if you didn't see it.
Yeah. So, as I was like, it's fine. I like the idea. And it's also been brought up that the way they chose to do it, where they could have had, like, where they had Jared Padalecki, like the Samgary thing, like, why they could have done it without having, while you looked at them, like, it could have just been the Gary actor, and then Jared Padalecki, like, playing, like, they could have reversed it. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? So, like, the only time you would see that they were switched to the Freaky Friday would be in the mirror, like an actual Freaky Friday,
Right. Okay.
Like, so if you watch any of the Freaky Fridays, like when normal people are interacting, you don't see that character is who they are until they look at that reflection. But this reversed it,
right?
So that's
confusing. I got you.
It's confusing, but also, like, it would have been a different acting experience if it was.
It would have been a lot more challenging for both actors.
Yeah,
honestly.
So it would be like Jared Padalecki pretending to be Gary. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I see what you're saying. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know which way is less confusing or which way is
would have been more interesting to watch. I think that way, but it doesn't matter now.
Or if Lindsay Lohan had played all the characters, would have been down.
Obviously, that would have been way better.
So much better. And yeah, so that's not a bummer. So we're back.
Not a bummer. We'll take it. Not a bummer.
0 episodes since we've been to Bumlandia.
Bummersville.
Bummerstown. Bummerscape. Bummershurg.
All right. With that,
cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.